Oh, you know it's a bad sign when there's a black screen. No, oh, there we go. Haha, StarCraft, you're giving me a heart attack today. And we've only just gotten started. I am, of course, Rifkin, joined today by the lovely Zeph. Thank you for coming out here for the TING Open Season 4 Korean broadcast. But we're getting into Game 1 in this best of 5. It's one of the preliminaries for the group. Ladies and gentlemen, in the top left side, we've got Storm Gaming's GuMiho.
And in the bottom right, in the red, this is Elazer.
Elazer, of course, for those who are just watching the videos, maybe you've not seen the pre-game banter. He is one of the players who have come in to replace Byun, who was originally in the group, but unfortunately had to withdraw due to family commitments to a Korean holiday, which, again, totally understandable. That stuff happens. It's much better than not showing up for the group at all. So I thank Byun for at least giving us a heads up. But before we get into things too much here, it is worth noting Elazer is currently living in Korea. He's staying at the BaseTradeTV house. Woo, shout out to those guys, right? He's staying at the BaseTradeTV house in Korea. So this kind of worked out well for him to be replacing you in the Korean group.
Yeah, pretty sick to see Elazer here on QLash now. How long's he been on that team?
QLash is still a fairly new team, so I don't know, but it can't be for super duper long.
It's got to be like a couple of months or something, because I don't think I'd heard of QLash before Elazer hopped on to their sponsorship. So
yeah, they're
pretty cool. Always seeing new names.
Their co-owner of the team, I think, is like a poker player or something like that. It's actually kind of got some interesting involvement, but for someone in chat who's asking, GuMiho versus Elazer and Classic versus Solar, are there no other games? No, sir. You are, get your seatbelt ready, buckle in. 5 best of 5s today. It starts with GuMiho and Elazer and Classic versus Solar. Then I'll go to the losers match, the winners match, and of course the group finals. Top 2 get out of here and go to the round of 16, but it's also worth noting for the first time ever, TING is paying out to the 16th place in this tournament, meaning if you get out of your group alive today, you have already made it to the prize money.
That delicious prize money. Pretty sick tournament, pretty sick players though, so it's going to be pretty difficult.
Yeah, well, the Korean groups are really stacked, in my opinion, but I was also going to mention on the topic of prize money, there's a match Reno set up for this. Right now the rewards are kind of limited, but they're looking to add more as the season goes on. You can check it out. Somebody already bought a t-shirt for it, by the way, so technically the prize pool is now $4,020. So that's right, guys, a little bit of crowdfunding if you want to get involved, get some love going, but yeah, TING are good sponsors. They're good people. We'll talk more about them as the day goes on, obviously, but for now, GuMiho's Reaper, not really getting a lot, but it did get some pretty important information out of Elazer regarding that third timing.
Yeah, so we can see that it's pretty much all standard from the Zerg side of things. Not really too much to know. Elazer is going to opt for that Overlord speed, which is a nice way of getting a scout in, especially if your opponent is quite good to keeping that vision away from their bases in the early stages of the game. Also, if you're super into drops, you can definitely do that with your speed overlords as well. But hold that thought, because he's going to roll in here with 4 Hellions. Really nice.
Try to. I love the micro on the Hellion too to pull it back, but of course there's no transfuse, so this queen would eventually die if she sits there. Little bit tight here for both players. GuMiho's not really getting much for this, but almost loses a lot. Reaper hops on over here is a bit of a distraction too, but the queen's on the high ground already waiting, or was, and she went in Jack. You were the chosen one!
Oh, that's so annoying when the Reaper comes back and manages to get a full scout in your main. Luckily, he doesn't get any drones picked off there, but he does see the timing of the lair. Again, pretty standard, but it's good intel to have nonetheless.
Yeah, this was actually a really important moment of the game for me back at home with that stim starting up. GuMiho has been playing mech against some of the Zerg we've been watching lately. And frankly, GuMiho's mech is kind of a really gross style of mech. It's aggressive 2 Thor drops. It's everything you don't want to fight. So for Elazer, there's this fair degree of like, now he needs to scout and confirm that's the case. We look at his vision, he sees a 3rd CC, and that's nice, but that doesn't make the difference of mech versus bio.
Yeah, well, with the Viking coming out, GuMiho is able to clean up a lot of the vision on the map, and now the Cloaked Banshee is going to come through. And this is something that has been scouted by Elazer, So we'll see how much damage it can get done, considering that there's already spores waiting. Yeah, we'll get a drone here and there, but I'm cutting it close there with that Banshee.
Well, he's gonna. The Overseer's right there. She is barely gonna get out of there with 5 health. This isn't so bad. GuMiho, though, deflected Elazer handling this very well. I mean, without a doubt in my mind, Elazer, the only foreigner in a group of full Koreans who are like WCS/GSL tier Koreans. Oh my god! He's definitely the underdog in the group, but we'll talk more about that afterwards. Timing here not favoring Elazer. 8 drones go down.
That was so good for GuMiho. That is a beautiful amount of drone kills. He's up to 10 workers killed total. Sure, the Banshee didn't get a lot done, but it's back at home. It's being repaired. The important thing, he hasn't lost that. So he can keep these Hellions out on the map. He can come back with the Banshees. Use those to try and control the creep a little bit, because you can see Elazer with all these extra queens is already starting to push that out a little bit. But considering the early game harassment, it does sort of throw a spanner in the works and helps hinder that purple goodness from getting too far across the map too fast.
By the way, Zeph, are you using the Game Heart overlay, or what observer overlay are you using?
The default one.
Oh, I mean, I could have accepted like anything else other than. Oh.
Not like default, like the bar down the bottom. It's the, I don't know what it's called. This, you've got the like the mini map on the left with the observer thing. I don't know.
Oh yeah, well, my question was, if you hit Shift-I, does it show the graphs for you or no?
No.
Okay, because I was gonna say I'm not gonna relate to those too much if you can't see them. Just checking, guys. Again, haven't cast with Zeph in a bit. These drops are gonna get pushed back immediately. One thing for Elazer I gotta like is the creep spread you brought up, purple goodness, however you want to phrase it. It's good enough that the queens are mobile and they can actually respond to these medevacs. If your creep spread's lacking, they're slow, they don't get there in time, Zerglings and Baneleys maybe don't even do anything to the Marines, and the medevacs get away unscathed. Feels bad, right? But no, not for Elazer, who has covered his spread pretty well. On top of that, we're at that stage now for Hydras, so generally speaking, I think engagements on creep will always favor him, obviously, but yeah, GuMiho's gonna be trying to clean some of that up. Just take some time to do so.
Certainly, and he's about to ramp things up a little bit with some multi-pronged deliciousness. He's got the double drop on the left, clearing up some creep here, poking away those queens, and the other one on the right. So Elazer has vision of both of these right now. I don't really see him taking damage as long as he splits his army well, and he's certainly prepared for this. But the creep cleanup here from GuMiho is pretty nice so far.
Yeah, he's also not losing much through these drops. At the same time, Elazer's not either, but yeah, GuMiho seems to be getting away every single time. That's the burden of this before Hydras are out, but now they are. Maybe they can start picking off some of these medevacs.
Maybe so. They are pretty... I mean, they're slow and not slow at the same time. Not the most ideal unit for chasing medevacs down, but what GuMiho's doing here is not looking to commit, of course. He's just trying to keep creep control until he's ready to commit to something heavier, because these are the pathways through which he's going to want to attack. One towards the third, one towards that fourth base, and the fourth base is generally the harder one, because it's right in the middle of like 3 different alleyways where creep tumors, active creep tumors live. But so far so good. He's kind of keeping it at the middle of the map at most.
I like the set of Elazer. He's been very quick to replace that creep. I'm not sure what this queen is that's got these queued up. She's a little bit late to the party, but like over here, right? GuMiho's right in that front line cleaning this up, and you wouldn't even know because he's put all these new tumors down so quickly. But oh boy, now there's...
to staying out there.
Well, the next level coming in here is going to be that tank. This is going to make things a little bit more difficult, especially scary for the Banelings. But on the left side of the map, Elazer had set up this amazing run by, gets caught by 2 of the drops, or maybe it catches 2 of the drops, depending on your point of view here. But we do have what was going to be double-layered walls out of GuMiho. Is it a tower defense? Is he mazing in?
Oh, that's actually beautifully set up, too. He's got some units there being rallied already to take care of that sort of backstabbing playstyle. It's really smart.
You know, yeah, I'm making a little bit of fun of the way he's set up with his depots, but that's actually brilliant, because normally we're used to Zerg players just bringing in those 6 Banelings, busting a hole and walking in. If there's 2 layers of depots, you can't pull that off. Crazy enough, just crazy enough to work, maybe. But tank set up a little bit late, so Elazer manages to roll in here and get some of the tanks before they get their first shot. All the tanks gone, but the problem is so are the Banelings, so he's got to fall back. That bio is a little too scary.
Beautifully done.
on
He's still got a
2-2.
lot more units in those medevacs loaded up that he hasn't dropped out yet. Getting the maximum that he can out of these Marines, but like you said, without the Banelings, he's actually not able to do too much to close the distance here, especially as GuMiho kites back onto the part where there is no longer any creep, getting more tunes here on the front lines.
If only he had focused that medevac that was right there, that would have been a nice 8-something Marines to pick off. But the upgrade disadvantage here for Elazer, he's like 10 seconds away from having armor at least. He's got a couple of infestors out, but this has been scanned. But fungal growths, banelings, I think there's the tools here to hold on to this.
GuMiho does have to be a little bit careful, but behind this he's getting a real nice setup. Fourth base is down. Nice fungal in the middle of that army though. He is going to be able to crash through some of it, but not the most cost-efficient trade for Elazer, I don't think, and GuMiho can keep up the pressure.
Yeah, if Elazer had been able to maintain some of that creep, that could have been a very different, like a game-ending fungal type thing, but unfortunately for him, it still trades out all right, but still not putting him quite in the green. Now, the nice thing about this, Ultra Caverns behind this, Hive is done. This is technically Elazer's weakest point of the game, and that's why he's struggling to hold right now. Give him time, he gets those ultras, this game can turn around for him in his favor, but rolling through once again, he's going to focus down that tank. There's not a lot of support left on the ground, it's mostly empty medevacs in the sky, both in energy and capacity. As long as the laser doesn't overextend and overstays welcome, he should be okay, but some sneaky banelings.
Well, he's holding on well, given that he is defending beautifully. But GuMiho's macro is just insane behind this. He doesn't stop. He always has another wave of reinforcements coming in just in time. And now that the creep is well and truly out of that area, he can definitely creep forward a little bit more. The Baneling mine does go off. Doesn't do a huge amount just yet.
He just killed his own Marine. That was the changeling. The Banelings are kind of preemptive. Unfortunately, I think he was forced to do it. He knew the turret was completing soon, so he helped kill the turret at least. But 5 infestors do get scanned, and maybe there'll be scans available at all times, or maybe not. But you know what? Vipers are now out. He's going to be able to abduct those Liberators, grab one of those tanks, force a Blinding Cloud. At some point, I'm sure we'll see Ultras come out, but not the priority for Elazer right now, who is severely disadvantaged through upgrades. GuMiho is on 3-3. Elazer's barely on 1-2.
Yeah, that's a pretty rough thing. I mean, if Ultras were coming out maybe a minute earlier, things would be so bad, but he's got to hold on quite a while now before those chunky units can come out, and also for chitinous plating to kick in. And GuMiho is slowly strangling him too. He's moving forward with these Liberators. He's got a siege tank in tow, already pre-split, but these Vipers might make the difference here. Great abducts on those Liberators on the front lines, and Blinding Clouds at the back. And he does break part of that army.
He Blinding Clouds the missiles to it. It's brilliant. Keeps the Vipers alive while they get in there, but oh man, this is still problem town, guys. Elazer's army supply is holding up, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. But it's still that upgrade disadvantage I can't stop staring at. At least the Ultras will have armor soon. They pop out a little early in the front lines, as we can see here, but chitinous plating is not ready to go. Elazer's got to buy at least 20-something more seconds.
Oh, he's struggling here. GuMiho is moving in.
Blinding Clouds coming down.
Got so much fire. Yeah, the Blinding Clouds are helping buy some time, but there's just not a lot of Zerg left on the ground here.
No, 5 seconds to go. Most of the Ultras have been picked off. It is literally a matter of seconds that could have changed the outcome of this fight, guys. But chitinous plating is now done. As we can see here, a lot of the bio almost dead. There's no medevacs left to heal these simmed units. This could work out for Elazer as he continues to push in. Oh, maybe not. He's just like a little bit dry on units.
He's holding on well. I can't believe he's lived this long with that upgrade deficit. But GuMiho does finally snipe the hatchery. Vipers come in once again. Gonna pick off a Liberator, maybe? No,
you know
not
what?
quite able to.
He doesn't have the anti-air, but it does unsiege it, which is huge. That's what allows him to continue attacking that tank. GuMiho, by the way, has been so funneled into this, it took him a long time to lift his main over. Normally we see Terrans do that much sooner, but never mind. G, he takes the game nonetheless. That was an insane hold out of Elazer for as long as it lasted. And make no mistake, guys, if GuMiho had prioritized lifting the main and not looking at the front lines for a few seconds, I absolutely believe Elazer could have taken a fight there. Like, that's how close that got.
Yeah, he held on really, really well. GuMiho was just like constant pressure from the moment he had 2 drops out on the map. And he didn't really lose momentum from that point. It was so hard for Elazer to push him back through that one choke area in the middle of the map there. It is quite hard to break once the Terran sort of digs their heels in there, but I guess the other thing would be the constantly trading with inferior upgrades. That gets really rough when the Terran's on 3-3.
Well, it looks like Ascension Ira will be next. Let me get this hosted up. Man, we got a lot of people tuning in already. But hello and good morning to all of you. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Also, have you always had a purple DX Racer, or is that new?
That is fairly new, yeah. I've only had it like a couple of months.
I say, the color is nice, actually. I really like the purple and the black.
Yeah, purple's scientifically proven to be the best color in the universe. So it is pretty good.
Scientifically proven.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have evidence to support this data?
Yeah, just ask a scientist.
Oh, okay. Go to like a microbiologist. I'm like, what's the best color in the universe? He's like, let me just cut you off there. It's purple. Someone's asking, where is Zombie Grub today? Zombie Grub's actually going to be doing the North American group. So we have 2 groups for TING today. There's the Korean one here in the morning, which again, thank you, Zeph, for joining me for. But there's also one happening this evening. And rather than both of us deciding that we would be super tired and insanely overworked from doing double shifts all month, we've split up some of the workload. So I'll be... Oh, give me a second, trouble joining. I'll be doing some more of these, like solo cast / duo cast with a guest caster with some of the earlier groups, and she'll be covering some of the later groups, guys, if that ends up being the case. GuMiho, finally in here? Finally in here. Okay, ready, guys? All right, so Shania, enjoy the intro. Have some wubs. We'll see you guys here in game. Oh, no, that's... Sorry, that wasn't supposed to be a cough when we came back, guys. I apologize. Just so busy over here. Vape Nation, y'all. Okay. It's game number 2 in this first best of 5. You guys are here for the TING Open Season 4. TING, by the way, quick shout to our sponsor for this whole event. $4,000 and then more going to the prize pool. If you haven't seen some of the rewards, for example, if we sell enough of those SIM cards, which are worth $5 each, TING's going to throw like another $1,000 into the prize pool later. Amongst other cool rewards that we'll have joined throughout the season. So again, make sure you check out the Match Arena page for this. There are currently no codes for today. There might be in the future, but at least take a look at things like the prize pool split, and all the information they have on there. Good people. And if you guys don't know what TING is, it's a mobile phone service for the United States. If you're somebody who doesn't text, doesn't call, mostly uses Wi-Fi, dude, you're gonna pay like $5 a month. I'm not even exaggerating with these guys. So check them out. Go to bttv.ting.com. And of course, you'll get $25 in credit to try their services for basically free. That being said, in the bottom right, we have the red Zerg player, Elazer.
And in the top left in the blue, GuMiho.
Now, GuMiho did a lot of things right, and I kind of muddled through this, but without a doubt, GuMiho favored in this matchup. Elazer probably underdog of the group. But I gotta be honest with you guys, even if I'm wrong and this ends up being a 3-0 for GuMiho, I still actually have a lot of faith in Elazer to not be such like a pitiful underdog of the group. Like, I'm just gonna say he's barely the underdog of the group, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, this guy can pull his weight. You don't win a WCS by sucking at the game, so I definitely have faith.
It's not like that, but of course, for those who don't remember, Elazer, before they did region locking last year, is one of the few foreigners who not only made it to BlizzCon, but made it like top 4 at that. Like, Elazer is
God,
like...
That's true, hey.
Yeah, statistically, he's got the chops.
Yeah. He certainly does. And I'm keen to see if he can put some points on the board against GuMiho. I think it's one of the toughest Terran opponents you could have. But yeah, I'm not counting him out by any means.
A little annoying here with that Reaper, but not getting much for it. You'll see that third timing again, though. Reapers have really had questionable use ever since they had those grenades nerfed. And I guess for the Zergs, at least it means no more cheese. But for the Terran, yeah, not a lot you can really do with this guy in the early game. But okay, grenades zone this out. Also, those alert sounds are maybe a bit too loud. Gonna go ahead and tweak that in just a moment. But thank you, Funky Monkey 2012, for that 2-digit 20-month resub.
Damn. Long time. You've got some of the longest subs I've ever seen on this channel.
Dude,
It's pretty cool.
I can't even believe it. I was looking at the thing. October 2013 is apparently when we got our subscriptions activated, I guess, and that's an insane amount of time to consider.
Dang. Yeah, that really is a long time. On GuMiho's side of the map is pretty similar build to last game. He's got his 4 Hellions again, except this time he's actually opted for a Raven. So if you recall last game, he went with the Viking and following up with a Cloakshi there. Clear up that vision, see if you can get some drones. Didn't actually get too much done, but I like the switch over to the Raven. Beautiful harass unit, and of course that is really, really going to help if he keeps it alive to deal with the creep.
So I actually really like what Elazer's done here by going for the faster Overlord speed. Yeah, it's a costly-ish investment in the early game, but I think it's always justified, especially if your opponent requires scouting. And we had talked about this last game, right? That question of, will GuMiho play mech? That's the biggest danger of a player like GuMiho. He absolutely can, and when he can play it well. So for Elazer to get in there, scout, see that 3rd CC, he hasn't seen enough to definitively say it won't be, but he knows that it's nothing rushing and cheesy. However, that Raven's still going to maybe raise some awareness, because it could be dropping auto turrets in the mineral line for the rest of the game, since Zerg players don't go Mutalisks anymore.
Yeah, that's true. It can be quite hard to deal with, especially when there's a lot of other stuff going on around the map. Already he's going to start clearing up some of these creep tumors with his vision, and that's only going to make it easy for GuMiho to push later in the game.
Yeah, this is a brilliant use of the Raven too, because we noted quite clearly and made a deal of it, and obviously GuMiho noticed too how good the creep spread was last game. No 8 kills for you this time, says Elazer. Queens are in position and so are Zerglings.
That's it. The Raven's going to swing around to the main. We'll see if he can pick off any drones with some auto turrets, but it looks like Elazer is already on the ball. He's got eyes everywhere at the moment. He can still get a couple of kills even so with these auto turrets.
I like that he just pulls away from this.
You have to, you really... If they're targeting stuff, and someone like GuMiho would definitely be doing that, you can't afford to leave your drones mining.
Ladies? You appear to be a little bit lost. Okay, Overseer goes back to the main. Big scout on this Overseer, because now he knows his bio. He'll know exactly what to go composition-wise. There's no question of like, oh, are banlings okay or not? They're gonna be necessary.
Yeah, absolutely are. And Elazer here is looking to replace the tumors right away as soon as GuMiho's been in this area. And it's really important for him to keep doing that. Unfortunately, I think he's going to have a real rough time keeping that Raven out of his face. It has taken a fair bit of damage. In fact, where is it? Yeah, he may need to take it back and repair if he takes any more shots on that. But he's also getting some good scouting intel. I mean, he's going to see this 4th base with it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about these guys. Having a party.
Wow, I never knew they were there.
Yeah, they're definitely not Ewoks though, because that would be copyrighted. Okay, so what's going to be really awesome is he's going to auto harass on the backside of this. I really wish he would have actually saved energy for a point defense drone, but may not even matter. Marines try to focus down that 4th. Oh, looks like they're going to get it. Oh, it's a kill, not a cancel, because he was looking at the auto turrets, I think.
Quite likely. I think he gets maybe a drone there, but that's about it. So nice distraction there, delays the 4th base, and GuMiho behind this, of course, he has his 3rd base up and running. He's starting to get that wall up around that CC as well, and his production's well and truly kicking in. 1-1 just finished on top of that, so now things can start ramping up. I mean, Elazer's not too far behind that yet, but GuMiho is still a little bit ahead in that regard.
Man, 0 units lost for GuMiho so far. A hatchery in the hole, plus 10 Zerglings and a drone for Elazer. I still think, all things considered, this isn't as bad as last game for him. I think losing those 8-something drones was a lot worse than having the hatchery picked off. But, all things considered, he's still putting it down. I think he'll be a little more attentive. And of course, GuMiho's going to be pressuring topside, knowing that it's going to really drag Elazer out. Now, Ascension Ire doesn't have nearly as many or as abusive of tank spots as Abyssal Reef could offer, but there's still that problem of tanks now in the equation.
Yeah, and he's already found himself a nice little spot to start setting up. If he can get those siege tanks in an optimal position, he can use the ramps to his advantage as well to kind of lure the Zerg down those split between them as well. You can already see him trying to go up two sides at once. Elazer has split his forces and he's coming down both the ramps at the same time. The Bailey's having a real hard time getting to those Marines, but he does clean this up.
I think one of the key factors, though, is while they had a struggling of a time getting to the Marines, they were not focus fired by the tanks. That could be the difference of a Elazer diving too far off a creep or not. But he does crush the tank count, which is awesome. He drives this back. And of course, now there's a mostly dead medevac. And I don't mean the medevac, but the units inside of it trying to drop along the sides. Also, it is worth noting, small lings delayed this base, almost paying GuMiho back for the early annoyance.
Oh yeah, I thought that was like 1 or 2 lings. It wasn't even that many.
I think it was literally 1.
Yeah. This drop gets deflected there in the top right-hand corner. There's another couple that were just loaded up a moment ago, though, now heading towards the main base. It looks like Elazer conveniently is just spreading some overlords down that side of the map, though. So he should be well prepared to deal with that drop. And GuMiho, once again, has to sort of get a force together and march across the middle of the map. It's a difference from the last game where he never really got cleaned up fully and he was just able to keep that pressure up. So this is a much better start to the mid game for Elazer.
Man, it's so, like, I guess it's been so many months at this point that I shouldn't be surprised that it's Hydra's in the meta. It's still just some of these moments where I watch the game and you get taken aback. You're like, that's right, metas aren't a thing anymore. How nice they would be in some of these situations, though.
True. I mean, some players will whip out the odd meter, but it's just not that common.
I think
anymore. Hydra Ling Bane is just too juicy at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's just what used to be the most common strategy, now a bit of a cheese one, I suppose, when you think about it. But anyways, we are in Hive Tech once again for Elazer. One of the key differences, unlike last game, he's not being choked to death while he gets here. That Ultra's Cavern's going to finish up, and GuMiho's not barely winning the game type thing. He's still waiting to push through the middle. A lot of creep spread to still go through. Elazer's got a 5th freaking base up. Some auto turret harass still being very annoying around the sides of the map, but Elazer very happy to take this engagement as he lands that fumble. The Baileys get in. Tanks don't stand a chance, and Elazer pushes right through.
Oh my gosh, that Terran army got juiced by those Zerg units. And he's still trying to march forward here. He's got auto turrets harassing where possible, but he's not gaining that momentum that he wants. The good thing for him is that 3-3 is halfway done, but Ultras are also on the way.
Yeah, he was a little bit distracted by that drop to the south, but he picks up a tank for it, loses a few drones. Elazer's on that 70 count. I think like 70, 80, you're just absolutely happy as a Zerg player, no more necessary. And yeah, now you can just focus purely on army. Now, a small discrepancy here, guys. Like, upgrades last game were really off for Elazer. I'm not sure if that was consequence, maybe a mistake, but this time around, a little bit better. Kindness Plating's finishing up, but at the same time, 2 and 2. Not 2-2, but 2 and 2 are upgrading for him as melee and ranged are both on deck.
Yeah, well, when they're finished, he'll have 2-2-2, which is pretty nice. But triple drop here. He's still unloading into it and trading with these units. Funnily enough, he's gonna win this fight. I don't know how he judged that, but he's gonna make it through.
Part of it was that medevacs were not fully unloaded, but yeah, he should still be able to take care of this with the Zerglings. You know, it only gets better as time goes on too, as Adrenal Glands will be finishing up, making them so volatile. This is that point in the game now where Zergling run-bys can actually be insanely effective, and GuMiho's got to be careful about that, because he doesn't have the double-layered Great Wall of GuMiho like he had last game. He's got the hodgepodge wall of GuMiho this game.
Well, he's also got the sensor turret there, and that helps out. Maybe he'll stick one down the lower side in a little while as well. He does have a 5th base being built there, so he's not...
Oh, that fungal was good!
Oh, he's gonna lose them all. Oh. Rip.
Now, I'm not sure where we missed. I think it was over here. More auto turret harass. This Raven's on 14 kills. This thing has been such a nuisance. He's gonna try abducting it. Maybe
that's a good idea, because he's lost 23 workers this game, and like half of that's been that Raven, because it just doesn't stop. So,
over half. 15 out of 23 workers killed has been this Raven. Like, that is a disgustingly good Raven, but he finally removes it from the equation. All right. GuMiho's also stepping it up, though. You know, he's moving on towards another base. He's getting towards Liberator range, which is just so frustrating for Zerg players to deal with. In fact, there are some situations where I don't know what's worse, the Golden Armada or the player who gets like 15 Liberators with best upgrades.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. I think Vipers are just the bane of everyone's existence with that late game maxed out army. Provided he can keep them alive and get the abducts he needs, he can eliminate a lot of those, but it's a bit more of a patient play picking apart the Terran army than just kind of spreading out and then A moving into this. GuMiho's got a really nice position here, and Elazer's in fact just going to go around it towards that third base. He could get caught here though.
Yeah, this is what's kind of awkward about it. He did morph those Baneleys hoping they wouldn't get seen and the Ultras would take the hits, but I just want to also know, Elazer didn't have watchtower control. He could have easily seen where GuMiho was positioned for this.
Nice. He actually snipes a Viper there after it abducts that Liberator and doesn't actually get to finish it off. A second one gets abducted and does get taken out. Tank follows suit.
Overseer soaking the missile turret just because this, like, these odd missile turrets are so important to have up and running, but Planetary's a little bit bold to go after. No blinding cloud on it, but he's still got the damage. He just tears right through that Planetary. Newest base out of GuMiho shut down.
Oh, these Ultras off creep aren't that speedy, and they are getting shredded a little bit by this bio. One Fungal goes down, but it misses completely, and now the Ultra's getting picked off one by one, and GuMiho doing a good job at picking this apart. But behind this, Elazer has an 80 drone economy, so he's got money for days.
Yeah, I think I understand why GuMiho was, or excuse me, Elazer was extending there a little bit. He had those fungals, and in his logic, it doesn't matter what the cost of the Ultras is because he knows he's got money behind this. And that's going to be the big thing. Like, for the next few minutes, he's going to be throwing his money, I think, at GuMiho more than anything else. I can't imagine Elazer starts accruing like a 9k bank while he's tentative to push.
Yeah, that's what Zerg's supposed to work like, right? They just throw stuff at your opponent until they die. So long as you have the money to replenish it, you're going to be sweet because you can remax faster. And GuMiho is looking towards that juicy endgame composition, but things like this are going to make it difficult. This run by chewing up a lot of supply deepers. They're not actually getting too many SCVs, but clears the path for later.
The thing is, though, we saw just how fast Adrenalines go to work on buildings, but more on that later. We got a lot of Liberators set up. Elazer may actually have just taken the worst engagement possible, diving through like 7 Liberators with not enough Hydras to actually kill the ones he abducted. This was a huge mistake out of Elazer, like a game-throwing tier mistake. If he had waited for the Corruptors, if he had waited for more Hydras, he could have gladly gone in there and at least killed Liberators, but yikes. That was bad.
Yeah, it wasn't amazing on his part. He's gonna try and replenish that creep in the middle and keep holding on to these watchtowers. You don't want GuMiho taking that vision away from you. GuMiho takes the opportunity to clear up a little bit of creep, but at the moment he's still got to sit back and get his units happening again. This Liberator is a bit ill-fated, unfortunately.
I like that he went for armor upgrades so early to benefit the medevacs and the tanks, because that's translated really well here to the Liberators being on +2. That thing took a lot of Spore Crawler damage thanks to those upgrades. And even here, still barely dying to the Corruptor. If at all?
There we go. He does tap it in the end. Oh, Elazer looking pretty healthy on this side of the map. He's got just about the whole thing, and it's all purple at the moment. More sensitive turrets coming up from GuMiho as he gets yet another couple of CCs, continuing to try and expand his own empire here. And he's replenished his army quite a bit at this point. There are approximately 8 million Liberators in the sky, so that's really going to help out when he engages.
That's a little bit close to accurate, I'd say. My concern is he lost a lot of things like Vipers getting picked off. He doesn't have Hydras. The Baneleys, there's a hell of a lot of Baneleys to go in for this Planetary.
He pulls away.
Oh, that's like a 1 second difference on tapping for a repair versus losing the base, but he moves the orbital in, so not the end of the world. Elazer had money. Like, I really want to emphasize this, guys. Like, he had a lot of money to work with. Granted, he's still got a lot of drones. His income's great. He's got a lot of bases and map control, but he doesn't have that bank to replenish a mistake now. Like, if he goes in and over dedicates with something, it could go horribly wrong for him. He's also... Yeah, exactly. I like the second Spire. He's really going for upgrades.
Yeah, he's probably looking ahead to a bit of a tech switch here, because once you get that super anti-ultra army, it's going to be really hard to get much done, especially on the side of the map where there's no creep. He may want to drop a couple of gas geysers soon. I mean, I guess he's maxed out, so he can bank for a little bit, but one new round of Corruptors and you can use that up pretty fast.
This is the beauty of Corruptors, by the way, guys. They have a lot of really... They have got some of the highest base armor. They got like battle cruiser tier base armor, right? So they currently have 3 armor with only +1. They can take some hits, even from those Marines that are fully upgraded.
Yeah, they're quite beefy, and I guess that's why they lent themselves to that meta for a little while, where you'd make those instead of mutas and just take out medevacs because they just don't die, and then they can never get the sky back. So he has managed to take the middle of the map here again, still crushing at the north. Oh god, get out of there!
Alright, gets out of there with the important units. Zerglings are totally expendable, all things considered. There might not be enough Vipers, actually, with how many Liberators there are. We're also hitting that territory where parasitic bombs are looking like a real good choice. Oh, wait. Why? Are you... Why? Okay, so he's making more Broodlords. Okay, this is interesting, actually. I think Elazer's got a good read on the situation, and I'm just now looking over, like, there's been almost no Viking production up to this point. Now he's got some hidden away, so... those can maybe deal with the Broodlords, but he's seeing so many Marauders at this point, and not many Marines. What few Marines stim forward for the Broodlords are probably going to get fungled.
Yeah, it really is a smart tech switch to try and bounce between them and catch the Terran, but I think GuMiho saw those Corruptors quite early on. It's like, why else would you really be making that many Corruptors? Sure, they help kill the Liberators, but you sort of know it's coming. And there he has Vikings being produced 5 at a time, so he shouldn't be caught too off guard with this. The other hard thing is... Oh gosh, please don't. Alright, now the Broodlords are coming in, and this...
The Vikings gonna get incubated into stacking up. There's those parasitic bombs, Steph! A lot of damage on these Vikings as they're forced to just run away. But there's not enough Corruptors or Anti-Air to capitalize on this, so while a lot of Terran units come very close to dying, he doesn't execute all the Vikings like he needed to.
Yeah, and there are a lot of Vikings on the field still, and Liberators as well. So many Marauders on the ground make it hard for these Ultras to do much.
Here's the fungal! Really? Catches those Vikings. Oh, there's no Vipers, though. But you know what? A couple of Corruptors, the odd Spore Crawler takes out most of the Vikings. And these Broodlords, you know what? I'm loving this. Just watching them throw units into the Liberation Zones. Who cares about the free units? Let them die.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why Broodlord switch is nice, because if you can eliminate that air threat, suddenly the Terran actually doesn't have that many tools to deal with the Broodlords. The main downside is that they are so slow.
Absolutely, yeah. I also... Oof, no, the Infestor getting picked up. I think he's out of Infestors now, which is a problem. But I just got to give Elazer credit. Like, he super baited those Vikings into stacking up like that. That was so cool. He only brought 3 Broodlords to the side. They looked like they were out of position. Like, that fight was dictated by Elazer. 100%.
And now he's finally getting a chance to push through the middle, which is something that he's tried to do a couple of times now. More Vikings are coming in. He needs to be a tad careful. His ground army can't close the distance just yet. He's coming down the ramp, though. Does get a couple of bombs off in the sky, and the rest of the army crashing through the bottom. Has he actually broken him?
I think he may have just done it. There's too much in the sky, not enough on the ground, and while the Ultras chase what little there is, GuMiho can't handle it. GG! Elazer takes game number 2.
Nicely done by Elazer there. That late game there.
I love it too. I'm watching chat while this goes on. Oh, GG's got Vikings. Elazer's not even the same tier as GuMiho. Blah, blah, blah. You guys are so wrong. It feels so good to know that. No, but like, I'm not trying to be petty, guys. I'm just a big fan of Elazer. He's one of the European Zergs that really stood out from the scene last year, and he's clearly done so again, at least with game 2 in the group. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. This could still very well be a 3-1, but that's a hell of a game 2 to bring it back on. We're going to go to a small commercial break, though, and a small word from our sponsors as well. So, quick TING commercial, Twitch commercial, and then we'll get back into game number 3. So, sit tight, guys, and we'll see you in about 3 or 4 minutes here. Alright folks, we're back and we're just gonna hop directly into the game. No dilly-dallying. Thank you for watching those commercials. But yeah, it's game number 3. Things have already been tied up 1-1, and probably like just the best first 2 games we could have hoped for out of this series. Spawning to the top left, playing for Storm, it is GuMiho.
And in the bottom right to the red, this is Elazer.
By the way, on the TING Open Season 4, we've been a little bit blessed here. Because keep in mind, guys, GuMiho, Elazer, and what is later on in the other Korean group, Innovation and Stats, these are all potential BlizzCon matchups. And you might wonder, are these guys going to hold back because, you know, they might meet at Burbank or California, or wherever the hell the studios are, and they're going to play? And probably not. The thing is, I've talked to a lot of these players, and while I'm sure some like Snoot are in crunch mode, and then they're going to decline tournament invites, and they want to focus on X versus Y, like, their goals are BlizzCon. Sure. I'm telling you right now, though, from my experience talking with these guys, they're just here to play StarCraft. I don't think Elazer's pulling any punches, and nor do I think GuMiho is either.
Yeah, I think they'll just be playing pretty straight up. Just playing standard is usually good enough.
Thank you very much, Devin Wolf, for that 36-month resub. 3 years watching my favorite casters. Well, 3 years of my favorite viewer tuning in. More like it. Ooh.
So cute.
Now it gives me a good excuse to play with the new alerts, too. I hope you guys enjoy them. I know that's, I'm just going to throw it out there. The donation sound's got a pretty cool sound to it.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. No, actually, I will say this to be clear. Holy shit! Well, that works too. We got 5,000 bitty bits cheered by Devin Wolf. I was not equipped for this, and neither was the alert, apparently. Damn it. But 5,000 bits for his birthday. His birthday renewal channel sub thing. Thank you so much, dude. That's awesome. I was just going to say, though, to be perfectly clear for everyone tuning in, Ting is actually paying us, which is nice to broadcast this. This isn't just simply done out of the goodwill and charity of passion for StarCraft. So this is one of the rare and very, very few times where I actually can say with the most comfort, donations are not required. We are good, but always appreciated.
Yeah. Thank you, Tim Wolf. And in the meantime, not too much has gone on in this early game here. Again, very standard third base coming down from Elazer. He's getting queens. He's getting the Overlord speed again. Seems to like that option. And I don't blame him either. GuMiho looks like he's sticking with the Hellion option too.
I think it's just so important that you do this for GuMiho. I don't care whether you're Dark, Sue, Elazer, or rando Diamond Zerg player. You gotta scout the Terran. You gotta see if they're willing to play mech or not. Because again, I'm not saying GuMiho's mech is objectively better or worse than his bio play, but it is a deadly way to play that he can play well. So for Elazer, even you know, just seeing the cloak coming on the Banshee is gonna be plenty. You get that Spore Caller down at a much better timing. You know your queens will be paying more attention. Like small details that save you a lot of drones. Ideally.
Yeah. That's exactly it. And it's funny too, because a lot of Terrans, you just assume bio, and GuMiho is that one guy that I feel like you can't do that with. So you're absolutely right. The choice of the Overlord speed is good, and these Hellions are sliding past the defenses here. There are a couple of queens in place, but only slow links, so he may get himself some roasty McToasty drones here. Already doing really well.
Well, speed kicks in just in the nick of time to help make this less bad, but still seven drones getting roasted. This is very reminiscent of game 1 where he snuck in there and got that 8. It's not good for Elazer, but luckily he's not overreacting. He knows that it's been dealt with. The Overlord's been sitting atop of production, so he knows there's not much more coming, and he's just been droning. For Elazer, the worst you could do in this situation is start making more Zerglings or lose enough Zerglings that you have to make more, right? Like, yeah, losing the drone sucked, but as we can see, he maintains a pretty healthy worker count, all things considered. And with that Banshee incoming, it's not going to do too well, although Spore Caller might be a little mistimed, so he'll get a couple more kills than maybe expected.
Yeah, they're a tad late. Getting the queen actually does help if you can do it early enough, but he's not quite on time to do that. He may be able to if he stays out of vision range. The transfuse does come down. He might lose that Banshee, and he does, unfortunately, get it popped there. I think he got 3 drone kills out of that Banshee.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the difference of 1 to 3, I think, is what it is with that Spore Crawler timing, right? But he didn't need to lose the Banshee, which is a little, I guess, upsetting to see. Not like I'm gonna go home and cry about it or nothing, but I'm like, GuMiho, you're my hero. Shoots down this other one pretty well. And yeah, that's gonna be that. Bacon here, thank you for that 9-month resub. 9 months time to deliver this BTTV baby from a Rifkin night. Oh.
Okay.
Ooh. Should have read that message in my head first is what I should have done.
That got a little graphic.
I hope you have quintuplets. Or Zerglings? I'm not really sure where to go with this. That was a weird message, but thank you so much for it nonetheless. Elazer, actually, this is so great. Last time we saw him played the same way, get the faster 4th base up and running. Unfortunately got killed, but we're going to ignore that for a second. Because on this map, it's a gold, so it's even better to get this earlier. Ooh, I wasn't kidding, guys. I told you the donation sound sounded good. Thank you very much, Terminator. Throwing 10 bucks, mine and Zeph's way to say for that sweet, sweet donation sound. Yeah, I will, of course, Zeph is like Zombie Rub or like anyone else coming to the channel, guys. I'm going to split the love both ways after the cast is said and done, so just so you know, again, transparency. But okay, so all this aside for a moment, the non-StarCraft, the Gibbledygook, we do have Hydralisk then coming down. Good timing. Banley Speed finishing up. I'm going to be keeping an eye on Elazer's upgrades. I really want to know if those end up falling behind again. I think game 1 was not the standard for sure, and I think Elazer, for whatever various mistakes got caught up in it, won't be facing that bad of a deficit again. But he has been prioritizing armor and looking towards hive tech, and that's where I think maybe he gets caught off guard. However, this drop...
Yeah, I think the way this build pans out, you do end up a little bit behind. I guess it depends on how the mid game goes for you, whether or not you catch up. These drops are just not going to be able to land too far into Zerg territory just yet. He may be able to get something happening once a few more units join the fray. Maybe if he gets another drop going down the bottom side of the map. Although it looks like he's going to just set up here for now. This is actually a really good position to hold because you have the vision of that area, and especially with the grass there around that watchtower, it's so hard to figure out how much Terran is there and where it's placed.
I kind of forgot there was grass there because the creep tumor makes it almost invisible to see.
Yeah. Yeah, if he can clean up that one creep tumor on the bottom, then that's literally no vision for a laser in this area, which makes it a little bit tough. He is sneakily doing a group of lings round to that 3rd base of GuMiho, though, and a larger group heading towards that natural. That could be devastating. Excuse me, these are banelings, not lings!
Running in from both sides. The GuMiho splits appropriately, but takes 13 workers and damage. The Zerglings do not slip by into the natural, so at least GuMiho minimizes the damage, but for Elazer, oh man, picking up 13 SCVs is nice.
Yeah, that's pretty good. GuMiho will be able to replenish that in not too long. He is doing 3 SCVs at a time, getting himself a solid count as well. Still holding this watchtower position up until this point, but he is going to move now.
He really wants to get in here with those links, man. He's just checking back like every 3 seconds. Are you home? Are you home? Are you home?
It's a good way to go. Like one false move and the Terran can lose a whole lot of SCVs at home. But GuMiho's had enough. He's heading through with the main bulk of his army now.
You know what? There's no pathogen glands, so these infestors are coming out with not enough energy for fungals. This is a really good timing for GuMiho to be pushing. It catches Elazer just on that transition to hive tech, but oh, it's just barely off the edge of creep. Elazer's going to back away, realizing that is a suicidal fight to take. He's really hoping to take advantage of the tanks being unsieged.
Oh man, he's actually getting caught out a little bit here, not taking very good trades, trying to find a way in to deal with this army. Nice pre-splits from GuMiho here. He is getting attacked from a couple angles, but there's not enough beef on either side. The Hydras have to pull back towards this 3rd base.
He takes out the tanks, and if he can get enough, like 5 more seconds for some of these fungals, there's not that many medevacs, but GuMiho's army is split in 2. Natural base goes down. Oh, burrows denied! This is huge! The infestors don't get to burrow anymore!
Oh man, he's gonna have to keep those absolutely babysat. He's got what, 2 fungals? One fungal's actually pretty good. The second one chains them down,
you know what?
and he will.
That's just enough. Holy crap, that's just enough. Let's not forget on top of this, he did pick off like 3 or 4 medevacs that were coming in through reinforcements. So Elazer does get a good chunk of GuMiho's army, but denying burrow was massive. I don't think Elazer's even going to notice that for a while now. And on top of this, like, that base actually getting killed. The natural base being killed is huge.
He actually doesn't have a lot of minerals to spend right now. GuMiho is sort of regrouping, but he can continue to put on the pressure, maybe retake that watchtower area. Not sure, because he is actually building a 4th base behind this, although... Well... Oh, excuse me, no, there's a supply depots. Oh, okay, he's floating over his main from the...
Yeah, GuMiho's...
over to that lower 3rd.
he's kind of gone for the all-in version of this. It's like a macro all-in, as you could say, like by not expanding a lot. This is a problem though, because he was so strong with that attack just now, and he's still strong now. He's got some more power to him with this attack to the north. But this starts falling off in a big way. Elazer was able to sustain most of this damage thanks to that gold base. That's also wearing off. So right now, this top right base to contest is huge. But GuMiho might get stuck here. I don't know. It's very dangerous.
It's a rough spot to engage in. There's no creep up on the left side, like right up where he is. And he does get that base, which is pretty nice. If he can keep the economy down, he can certainly get himself into a nice position. He's still up in supply, but ultras are coming out. That's probably the scariest part of this right now. He is doing a bit of a drop in the main at the same time, though.
Oh no, let's go get Chitinous plating at this rate. Okay, good denial, good denial. So it's not even just the fact that you have to remake the Ultras, Gavin. Chitinous plating timing is like such an essential upgrade to taking any fight up here on the north side of the map. Losing that would be like a game-ending move.
Yeah. I actually like GuMiho's position, provided that he can set up his army well. Elazer doesn't have that much mining available to him. Look at his money right now. It's pretty low. The gold won't last much longer. And the natural and main are dried up, so... Ooh, nice blinding clouds on those siege tanks.
Yeah, normally a Elazer with 70 drones I think is going to be like well off economically, but you're right. He lost the top right, gold base is empty, main and third bases are getting empty, like... Yeah, this is getting tough territory for him. We could try and take a fight here in the middle of the map without fungals, but without that fungal assistance, this is so much bio that's already split. It's off a creep. GuMiho's taking a pretty good engagement.
Oh yeah, he took out a Viper in the sky there as well. More units coming in for the reinforcements, and these ultras are out in the middle of nowhere with no friends.
It's absolute chaos. I mean, Elazer's winning some of the smaller skirmishes here, but again, without that fungal, there's that fungal. That's what he's looking for to hold some of the army in place, but I think it might have killed him a little too late. No more infestors to back this up, and this is the army just dying out. Now, it's interesting because the army supply still remains even, and GuMiho has not made it to Liberators this game. So I think in every way, Elazer still has a good shot.
Yeah, if GuMiho can keep the momentum here and he is rallying across the map, he might just have it. 7 ultras are coming out, but it's kind of ultras or lings and banes, right? You can't have both with this amount of money. It's
ultras or a base at this point. Like, he needs to expand Elazer. GuMiho just lifts and moves his bases, whereas Elazer's going to be starving out. His income's holding strong for now, but that's about to taper out, guys. Gold base is gone. Main base is gone. Natural base is, well, actually, I forgot it died, so it's still mining. But, like, yeah, he's running out of money everywhere.
Yeah, I guess the other thing to mention, too, is GuMiho, again, on 3-3. Elazer not quite so lucky. He's still on 1-2.
Oh, the fungal. The fungal is so friggin' big.
You can't capitalize on it, though. It's so hard when there's no creep out in the middle of the map, and there's also no buffer for these ultras.
He wanted to take a negation with that, and I don't think that was wrong, but he was like 10 seconds away from that follow-up fungal that would have held everything in place to their deaths. Double expanding, double long-distance mining. Elazer's in quite a tough spot. But if he lands those fungals, he gets those choice hits. This could still work out for him.
Yeah, he could. I mean, he's holding on well. Don't get me wrong. GuMiho's finding it hard to actually like sort of knock him out here. And I like the double expand because it sort of forces GuMiho to like pick one side, and the side you don't pick is inevitably going to finish, and then he can get some proper mining up. But he's at that point now where he's actually like, I'm actually going to get out of the middle of the map and try a different tactic here. He's trying to get the gold as well. So moving his army down here, I guess, sort of puts him in close proximity to save that base and pressure the southern side at the same time.
Elazer can't. He's going to lose his hatchery. I think he's realized this too, so he was going home and then stopped going home and then started going south. Like, he really doesn't know where to go to respond to GuMiho for this. One Ultras comes up here. If he would just move to the left a little bit, he could have picked up a lot of SCVs, but instead he barely hurts a depot. GG.
Fire. GG. GuMiho takes it to a 2-1.
I just got to go back to this before we leave the game. The income graph was insane. Like, Elazer has winning the income war so hard that game. But yeah, 2-1 puts it in. Whoops. as I break things here on my desk, puts us now on match point, and Elazer is on his last life. This series has obviously gone a little bit longer than expected. We don't usually budget an hour and a half for a best of 5, but I can hardly complain. Like, these have been some amazing games so far. Or,
yeah.
in Elazer's case, amazing gaming. Shout out to those guys.
I just love TvZ, man. I'm being treated right now.
I hope you like PvZ, because of course that's coming up next with Solar and Classic. Let's go as quick as we can. Again, we're only going to be playing commercials as required, necessary, guys. Like, we're going to be trying to get through this group as quick as we can, especially since we are now officially super behind schedule. But yeah, no breaks here. We're just going to go right into Mech Depot for this next game. Papa Mitch, thank you for that 41-month resub. All right, players, are you ready? We got Mech Depot for this one. Wait, now GuMiho? Monsieur GuMiho? Actually, it's funny because normally Korean players are the ones that are spamming like go, 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 go. If you guys want to know, in my personal opinion, I think Innovation is the most guilty spammer for getting the game going of all the players.
Is he?
But okay, let's hop into it. All right, folks, it's game number 4. Apologies for cutting you off there a little bit, Zeph. I just want to make sure we got into the game in due time. It is, of course, the TING Open Season 4. This first group has been amazing. I just love this matchup. This series is better on top of it, and of course, in the top right, the Foreigner Challenger. He replaced Beyond in the group. It is the Blue Zerg Elazer.
And in the bottom left, in the red trunks from Storm Gaming, this is GuMiho.
Oh, I'm super excited. So beyond this, one of our new emotes that I had commissioned has been finished up. I'll upload it later today, but it's a pretty cute one. I hope you guys are gonna like it. I will give you this much of a spoiler. It is one of those 10 out of 10 emotes, but I think it's pretty cute. I like it. I bring this up because, of course, we see Bacon here spamming one of our other new emotes. He's LOL! The crazy laugh.
Oh my god, you guys have tons of emotes now.
Yeah. A lot of them are very stupid.
That's part of the fun.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I remember so long ago, actually, it's probably back in the days when you were casting more regularly on the channel. I was so tryhard. I'm like, okay, I gotta pick an emote that everyone's gonna love, but one that, you know, doesn't offend anybody. It also has to be related to StarCraft. Now I'm just like, I'm gonna draw a $sign in paint and make it look like a dollar bill. All right, that's an emote now. Although,
I mean, that's pretty much like the approach that Tosis took as well. He drew like a pylon in paint. He was like, yeah.
Arno Pylon is like the best emote on Twitch. Anyone who says otherwise is wrong.
It's so good.
But okay, silly emotes aside, for Elazer, I don't think there's a lot of pressure on him for this. Someone brought up that he's apparently still competing in the Masters Coliseum versus GuMiho later this month too. So like I said, guys, a lot of these players, they're just practicing and playing and practicing, and whether it's a tournament, whether it's ladder, they're doing everything they can to prepare for BlizzCon in their own special ways. And I know for a fact, speaking to many different players across both Korea and the foreign scene, they all pretty much agree unanimously. Tournament play is like the best area for practice. Players are always playing a little bit harder when there's money on the line, especially if there's a lot of money on the line. So for GuMiho and Elazer, whether it's the TING Open, which has a $4,000 or higher prize pool, or Masters Coliseum, which has $10,000, they're just using them as stepping stones to get ready for BlizzCon, right? I think BlizzCon, was it last place at BlizzCon? It's like $14,000 or something. Like, before you even get to BlizzCon, even that's just the round of 16th.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. At payday.
Sometimes I really wish I was good at StarCraft stuff.
Don't we all?
Get all the ladies, get all the money. Ah! Oh!
Yeah.
Alright, couple Hellions coming to join up this Reaper. It's been a nuisance. One of the problems with Mech Depot is it does take a lot of creep spread to get to your third. So, very annoying to have to deal with this.
It does. I'm actually surprised with playing on this map. I thought Terrence hated this.
I guess there's other maps he hated more. It is a veto system for those who don't know, so they do pre-pick all the maps.
Yeah, I mean, you got rid of Interloper and I can't remember what else, but the third placement on this map is what makes it suck for a lot of players, and that's why they don't like it. But yeah, it equally does suck for Zerg, as you were saying. It's a little further away, and then you get situations like this, where GuMiho can outstay his welcome a little bit more easily than he otherwise would be able to.
Elazer went in there just like a smidge too early before speed was done, so we saw a lot of those lings nope the heck back. And Queens, of course, take care of the problem.
Yeah.
Once again, scouted by that Overlord, GuMiho is going bio, and Elazer knows it.
Yeah. Again, we've got that tech lab on that. Oh my god, I want to say factory. Starport. Helps if I click on it and I can read the building name.
At least you're mixing it up with other Terran buildings. I mix this up with... I mix Stargate and Starport up all the time. Not even the same race, like...
I do that all the time as well. I mean, people have probably noticed, but I also call every Zerg structure the, like, name and then den. So it's Ultra Den, it's, you know, Muted Den, it's... I've just forgotten the actual names at this point.
What are these units called that come out of the spawning pool?
Lings? Linglongs?
Oh, yeah, say Linglongs, there you go. That's the classic Zeph one I remember. Okay, so the Raven actually isn't going to be a problem this game, which is awesome for Elazer. I think the thing that worked out well for GuMiho was just the Raven didn't take any damage at all for like first 13 minutes of the game. So I was able to rack up like 14 kills in the other game. This time, it's already like over half dead.
And he will be able to clean up this Overlord. He can go around the edges of the map with that Viking and then continue to pick off an Overlord here and there. But at this stage, he knows what he's up against. Like you said, yeah, it's bio. There's a couple of medevacs on the way as well, and he'll be able to see the timing of that. He'd know it in his head anyway, of when he actually needs to make a round of lings and a few banelings to support so that he doesn't lose anything for that first bit of aggression coming out from GuMiho, which is about now. So you can see him already preparing. He's parked the queens between the third and the fourth as well. It sucks if he drops in the main at this point, but he should see it coming.
I may have scumbagged you there a little bit with that spawning pool question. Now people are being real judgy about, does she even know about StarCraft? Oh. No, guys, Zeph doesn't know anything.
This is my first StarCraft game.
Yeah, I just want to make clear, she's just a pretty face. I only invited her for the accent, and that's about it. I thought I was inviting Maynard and accidentally invited Zeph.
Yeah, we're just trying to fill that gender equality quota here.
Yeah, because that's what it's about, right?
Yeah.
Affirmative action at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. All right. We do have that Raven still being a very big problem in the main. Actually killed a queen. That was a little surprising. Drops in the middle, get on top of creep, but man, Elazer just got so much of it, I don't think he minds all that much.
He's doing pretty well. I mean, he's sitting in the middle with these units. He ideally wants to be near that third and fourth, clearing up the creep, because I think that's probably where he wants to push later on. This map's a little bit weird in the sense that there's rocks in the way in some cases, and a lot of paths to actually cover with the creep, and in turn with your Terran units to try and clear up that creep from going too far.
So I'm a little bit worried for Elazer. We've touched base on his upgrades for the previous games, and this time I'm not talking about the 1-1, which is late, frankly. There's no baneling speed. These guys are still wandering around all slow mode, and there we go, now he starts it, but I'm not sure if that was a mistake or a timing on his part, but getting up here to the main off of creep too, like these banelings are gonna be so slow to respond to these drops.
Yeah, he's trying to do one in the south and one in the north at the same time. This is what it's all about on this map, because you can stretch your opponent out so far. The one in the south really not going to get anything done, and the one in the main does end up getting deflected. But he's keeping the pressure on, and he hasn't actually lost anything just yet.
Yeah, it's just that moment of, again, for Elazer, I'm not sure what's going on with him in upgrades today, but they're scaring the heck out of me, Zeph.
He's really powering towards Hive and Infestors. I guess that's the trade-off here, instead of going straight into the 2-2.
You know, we've been so obsessed with Elazer this game. I didn't even realize GuMiho, like, Elazer was coming up here expecting a third, but GuMiho took that base down here, right? So Classic Terran in third missing from the equation, and it's not like he didn't know about it. I just didn't realize it.
Yeah, it is a little interesting one. I like this choice from GuMiho because it's actually closer to the expansions of the Zerg, so it sort of makes sense because it's an easier point to fall back to. Hold that door, lots of aliens coming in the front door. A lot of them get wasted on the sliding demons, but he still gets in there.
This is
gonna get the juicy hit.
I love the burrowed banelings. Maybe when he catches them on the return. I don't like it though because of exactly this. And sorry, this is what I was going to try and touch base on. Elazer is able to make Zerglings into banelings on the high ground outside of vision. Oh, big baneling hits. GuMiho scans to see if there's more, so he wastes a scan on top of that hit. Now this didn't kill the most SCVs in the universe, but it took out so much of the bio that army supply took a huge hit.
Oh my god.
Oh, then Elazer's going to give away his lead by throwing Zerglings over here to like low fortified Marines.
That's a real cheeky spot right there. So, army supplies still looking pretty healthy, all things considered. Elazer, of course, is ahead as you expected. In fact, he's going to try and bring the hurt to GuMiho here a little bit as he tries to continue moving up and keep control of this watchtower.
I think we're seeing that problem with upgrades again, though, really come into play. You know, he doesn't have the armor, he doesn't have the weapons. Diving on top of tanks is not going to be an option. If the infestors can actually sneak something here, that could be kind of cool. I love where he's put this, though, so even if it gets scanned, friendly fire goes on top of the tanks? Maybe. Either way, he's got to be very, very careful.
That could be a cheeky way to break that tank line. He's actually going to take a fourth base behind this as well. Elazer has a Ling there, so he will know all about it. And I'm not sure if he can actually do anything to pressure that. There's Marines on that side of the map too, so he's really just got to focus on holding this position. And GuMiho's doing a great job at slowly creeping forward, cleaning up creep tubers and getting some ground.
That's the key word, though, slow. And that's giving Elazer that time to not just make up for the lack of upgrades, but get Ultralisks out. Chitinous plating completing. Like, there's an entirely different engagement awaiting GuMiho because he took time to clean up creep, which is not bad. This is what he should be doing, but it's going to be a completely different fight coming around the south side. This Chitinous plating's done here in a matter of seconds. Elazer going a little bit early. He's still got like 10 seconds. He's got to wait out here.
It's still a little tricky to engage this spot, even with Ultralisks. And the good thing for GuMiho is he is already starting to make some Liberators. Will he get taken out here? A lot of the bio
fungal on the backside.
Some nice fungals.
That fungal is critically huge. The Abducts bring in those Liberators. He kills the tanks, and that bio is now in full retreat. While this goes on, there's a small attack on this side, but it's dealt with by the Lings on that run by, and this, for Elazer, was a great fight.
Yeah, he got rid of him pretty nicely. No creep here, though. He's got to be a bit careful.
Yeah, he's overextending now. It takes a good fight and throws it away. Classic Zerg move, right?
Yep, he's going to possibly lose all the ultras he took on this adventure. Or one gets out by the skin of his teeth. Or tusks, I guess.
Good chance to use.
Oh man, this bio arm is really hurt, so he actually does have to pick up and leave. But he got his money's worth there, chasing down those Ultralisks.
Like I said, between that Bailey hit and that fungal that's been sneaky and waiting there, oh, well, we'll pretend we didn't see that, Elazer. But I was going to say, he was making some pretty sick moves this game. Unfortunately, the Vipers going down is a huge deal. This isn't like, okay, you lost a couple of Infestors. He needs those to uproot, unsiege, and move the Liberators around. He needs those to have energy for parasitic bombs potentially later on. And Vipers are just so gas expensive. You don't want to be losing those.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, he's going to make a couple of extra, but Elazer's already looking ahead to that Broodlord switch again, like we saw in game number 2 on Ascension. So it's really about finding the right timing to pump out those Corruptors and then shift them into that Broodlord transition right when the Terran's trying to get a lot of Liberators to deal with the Ultra composition. GuMiho once again maxed out, gonna try and keep up the pressure. I gotta say, Elazer has held on to that right side of the map beautifully. Yeah.
Yo, I also, or just throwing in compliments quickly, I love that neither GuMiho nor Elazer played anything stupid, and we've had these long macro games, solid series from it, because there's no turtle mech, there's no swarm host or weird play out of Elazer. Like, this has been well done. Another fungal catches the bio! But the Ultras are stuck behind the Hydras. They couldn't actually take advantage of it.
And
Meanwhile,
he resieges those Liberators. Another Ling run by here in the bottom left towards the natural. And the rest of the Terran army is actually not turning around. It's just going for the fruit.
Yeah, one of the beautiful things about these adrenal glands is these Zerglings are actually a big threat. Not necessarily to killing SCVs, but to picking off tech labs and reactors right now. Cutting off the reinforcements surrounding Marauders like the way we're seeing. But while this goes on, GuMiho's not too fussed with dealing with these. He's really trying to push the issue. And, I mean, he really should be pushing that issue.
Yeah, he's gonna hit him while he can. And he does manage to take out a base. Recall, like, the one way that GuMiho won the first game was by knocking out the economy and keeping that pressure up. And he's trying to do the same here. He's got a couple of units down in the bottom right. He knows about that base. Could be the next target for a drop or something while he pushes elsewhere. Elazer's actually getting aggressive now.
I was about to ask if he knew about this, the loadings that have been burrowed here. He's scanning the third. There's a little bit of annoyance there. These Zerglings, of course, can't unburrow while there's Marines sitting on top of them, but if, you know, GuMiho's fully out of the base and you start killing reactors and tech labs, that will kill GuMiho faster than killing GuMiho's army would. And of course, that Infestor... Oh, he's just chilling. Oh, the scan, though!
Oh. Well, he gets one of the Corruptors, a bit more Zerg ground army starting to move in.
GuMiho's going for the Doomest of Doom drops. Full army going to the main base of Elazer, so we might just see this forced into a base trade, as this seems to be the path we're going down. Elazer's army, Broodlords, Ultralists, they're all too slow to get home in time for this.
Yeah, they certainly are. They're just committing on either side. He can drop a few units there to deny that hatchery, but he's also got to drop down in the bottom right, I think, as well. While he's in the main, he can stim down to the natural with those units. Okay, that's Liberated in the bottom right. Not sure who actually comes out on top.
Queen! Blocking the Ultra from saving the day, you know, no big deal.
Oh my god.
Okay, he doesn't get +3. Evaporated. +3 actually finishes for Elazer, which is good. That's gonna make these Broodlings even more deadly. It looks like Elazer has come home with some of the units. Oh, he wants a Blinding Cloud. He gets the Blinding Cloud.
Baneling hits.
Oh, and with these Ultras still at such high health, they can chase this down. But even if he doesn't chase, he's still coming back home with the rest of his army.
Yep, he is in this planetary fortress. Gonna deflect this Ultra after a little while. It looks like GuMiho's gonna have to regroup here a little bit. Has to
miscontrol.
Be careful.
This is so awkward. He could have picked off those medevacs. Like, Elazer's so focused on the front lines for that planetary. Like, he was really looking at the wrong place at the wrong time. He missed a huge pick-off opportunity there.
I was expecting Elazer to either mow those down or GuMiho to drop on top of it and try and trade there, but...
That's why I didn't look away. I'm like, this is a much more important thing that's not happening.
Well, there's a lot happening for these guys right now. It looks like he will eventually take this out, but at the same time, Elazer is pushing in on the south side. Is this...
I think he's got it. There's no money for GuMiho at this point, much less production for it. He's going for a lot of Vikings, which, granted, there's not a lot of anti-air for. Maybe he removes the Broodlords, and this is suddenly GuMiho's game. But right now, up a lot of supply. I'm feeling pretty good for Elazer.
Yeah, he's got a lot of firepower here. He's even got some transfuses on the front lines. Vipers coming in. They've got abducts. They've got blinding clouds. They haven't really found a way to use those yet. In fact, he used the parasite bomb on the medevacs, which is a good idea.
Cheat.
Too much Zerg.
This is actually going to a game number 5.
Oh my god.
I feel so bad for Classic and Solar, by the way. Like, never would you ever expect to tell players, by the way, we're going to need 2 hours for this first best of 5 today. So I'm just going to quickly note, guys, if Classic and Solar takes a lot of time, what we will do is make the losers match, winners match play at the same time, and we'll pick one of the 2 matches. Because I don't care about time. I'll sit here for 7 hours, but I don't want to make the players do that. So just so everyone's aware, that's how we'll adjust and compensate. Anyways, we're going to go to a small commercial break. We'll do the Ting one after this, but for now, we'll just go to quick Twitch ads, and we'll see you guys here in a couple of minutes. So sit tight. We get to game number 5, and we'll be back ASAP. No, that's the wrong button. There we go. Alright, so we kind of messed that up, guys. I had the wrong players in the wrong slots, so we had to remake. But now you can enjoy. See, this boring... Who cares about its screen? Like, ugh, right? Who cares? This is what you miss when we play the Weeb intro. Okay, we're back. It's gone to game number 5 already. It's the very first series of the day. I've already apologized and explained in full to Classic and Solar. Like, if this goes on for super long periods of time, we'll play the other matches simultaneously to make up for it. But You guys, the fans, are really the ones winning out on this one. But spawning here in the top right, we have the blue Terran player, GuMiho.
And in the bottom left in the red, it's Elazer.
I'd like to thank Wardy. Give him a quick shout out for that 21-month resub. You'll note it's not with Twitch Prime, but that's okay. Some of you will get that inside joke. No, but seriously, thank you, Wardy. Mucho apreciato, my friend. Yeah, so this whole group, guys, is going to be just blessed with good games. If I will say this really quick, if for whatever reason we do have to skip matches and play the winners match and the losers match at the same time, I'll still go back and cast the replays after. Hopefully, if Zeph has time, she can stick around. But Zeph, the players, like, my biggest fear is I don't want to drag everyone out to sit out for 8 hours in a group that could go possibly to the ace match every single time. So we're going to try to be accommodating to the players first, but we'll try to make sure you guys don't actually miss anything one way or the other. And I hope you've been enjoying the TING Open Season 4 so far, because outside of the qualifiers, today's the first official play day. Speaking of Prime subs, thank you, Cormalzdazar. That sounds like a cool demon name, I think. Either way, I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry for saying it wrong. Thank you for that Twitch Prime sub.
Alrighty. Acolyte can actually go pretty long as well. I mean, you get 3 free bases essentially, right? So we may be in for a very long macro TvZ series all up. Not that I'm complaining, because it's going to be pretty good either way. I am keen to see what GuMiho chooses to go for. We've seen him go Hellions into Cloak Banshees. We've seen him do the Raven. We've seen him just go straight up into the drops. Does he switch it up again?
Well, so this might be the map to do that on, right? Acolyte allows for 3 pretty easy bases, a reasonable 4th. If he's thinking mech at all, in the long game, I think Acolyte's the map to do it. But with the way GuMiho plays mech, I don't feel like it's map dependent. You know, for some people out there, they're looking immediately for the turtle strats and they want to play the long, slower game. For GuMiho, when he plays mech, he gets aggressive, and he's very fun to watch because of this. So I really don't, I don't want to say that it's Acolyte that will determine whether he plays mech or not. I think GuMiho will determine whether he plays mech or not.
Yeah. Well, time will tell. He's been doing pretty good with these Hellion openers, roasting drones early on and controlling that creep.
There's sorry, that's gonna point this out. This is a very fast 3rd CC, like incredibly fast, and this is so dangerous to do against a player who has been Overlord speed scouting you 4 out of the 4 games already played. And of course, the Elazer is gonna be doing this again here in this game. So this isn't like the old days of HOTS where you scout this and it triggers like an immediate bailing all in or something like that. But it's gonna give an Elazer either the idea to play super greedy on his own, or try and punish GuMiho one way or the other. Because Elazer, like, for all these things people want to talk about him for, I always think back to the fact that Elazer's the guy with the balls to, in the last game of Nation Wars, Ravager bus innovation and stick to it 10 minutes after it failed. Like, there's some danger to doing stuff like this against Elazer, but did he see it? Okay, he barely saw it, by the way. Barely got in there and saw it with that Overlord.
Yeah, I mean, he'd see the building timings anyway and sort of know what's up. I do expect Terrans to go for the much greedier 3rd on this map, just because it's so safe to take those bases, and it's really hard to break you. Like, there's not a lot of options to put some hurt on, and sure, you can try and go the aggressive route, but I think, especially in the 5th game of the series, maybe it's a little better to play it safe. And Elazer's following the same build he has in the last few games. He's got his 3 base up, he's going to lair in the Bending Nest. He can probably just look towards a 4th once he's got that full drone count happening on the 3 bases that he already has. And we'll see where he goes from there.
There's some hardcore like hashtag riff logic going down in chat right now as to why Zombie Grub sounds different today. My favorite one so far is that she tasted some kangaroo and it made her voice like this. I don't think it's quite the same as like getting a frog in your throat, guys, but you know, why not? I'll go with it. Dude, if there was a way to actually like get another person's accent with such easy access, dude, I'd be all over that for British accents, I think. I love hearing Australians, but if I could speak one, I think I would speak like that high class, douchey British accent.
Really? I don't know, man.
Quite.
Oh gosh.
Okay, we're gonna put a full stop on that right there. But Elazer last game we kind of noted had kind of later speed. It was worrisome. I actually didn't know if he'd have this in time on the ban list to actually deal with drops, much less any real engagement from GuMiho. But speed starts up at a pretty appropriate time. In fact, before 1-1 even, and Elazer also takes a quick 4th. A lot of this comes on the back end of seeing GuMiho take that 3rd base. The 3rd base, though, ooh, is going to lead to a little bit of cheekiness, too, for Elazer. But I was going to say, sometimes it's the no rush 20 minutes approach. You know, you see greed, so you match it with greed. However, Elazer's going to be matching it with greed and a bit of a drop. 4 banelings precisely to go to the natural, which is a little oversaturated, not by much, but still, extra SCVs here is the point.
Very cheeky. Is he going to be able to get some damage done? I think he will. Oh my god, he pulls away. How does GuMiho have such good reactions?
Some damage. Omelette du damage. Okay, so this ends up being shut down in the worst way. Elazer though, GuMiho had good reactions again because he was rallying the SCVs back. A brief moment of panic, but yeah, he shuts this down. Cost him a Marine. Not worth it for Elazer.
Very well done, and at the same time he had this double drop down here. He did pull it back because Elazer's just too prepared. But yeah, it was funny because I was thinking to myself, maybe Elazer could try doing some drops, and then I thought like, nah, he wouldn't bother next minute. He's trying to get there, so he could potentially keep trying to do that too, and that keeps GuMiho on his toes, because you've got to pay attention to that. Otherwise, you might lose an entire middle line of SCVs, worst case scenario. But we'll see if he ends up going for it again. He's already actually sending a group of Lings up towards the potential 4th location, I guess. 5th, maybe?
I mean, this is a very similar move to last game. You know, he goes to the other 3rd to morph in, comes in and hits hard. This is not the natural, like, last game for GuMiho, but this is still an open base. Meanwhile, to the south, Elazer was struggling to take any sort of fight for a bit there. 1-1's actually a pretty big deal early on before Hydralisks are out, but now that these are joining in, I don't think upgrade discrepancy will be as devastating. But GuMiho will still be leading on upgrades this game, make no mistake, guys. And this is a pretty scary army that's been rallied down the middle of the map.
Yeah, I can't believe he still has a couple of Hellions alive as well that he's turned into Hellbats. That's a bit of extra beef.
Ooh, this positioning on that siege tank, though.
That's pretty gross. It makes it so hard to engage in this area, and he's loading up a double drop at the same time to swing around from the other side. That counterattack's going to try and have a look here. Yeah, I think he can actually kill all of this too.
Maybe the first wave, but not the reinforcing Marines. He'll be able to pick out the SCV building the command center, and that'll be a little annoying, but double drops in the natural base will not be dealt with if those go off. Elazer's full attention and full army is down to the bottom right. But he's transferring drones over right now too because he's worried about the very, very bottom right base that he's now taking. Almost gets a kill on the command center, but a cancel's not bad either for what a Ling run by is, and they mostly get out alive too. He'll catch that drop though because it was cleaning up creep. Ooh.
Yeah, there's kind of a lot of little things going on around the map at the moment. GuMiho finally deciding to push forward momentarily, take out some of the creep. And that'll allow him to extend forward a bit further if he so wishes. Although that said, he's actually pulled all the way back to that watchtower. Ling's going into the 4th base of GuMiho at the moment. They will get cleaned up by those reinforcers, but sniping a tank on the left there.
So just messaging our mods real quick there, but we got Vipers coming out. We are officially on Hive Tech, and I will say quote unquote safely on Hive Tech. Elazer's actually up in army supply getting to this point in the game. We've talked about this many times. We'll always bring it up with the TvZs, right? Like, this is supposed to be that weak point. This is supposed to be when GuMiho gets in there and does damage. But these little Ling run-bys that have not been killing much have successfully distracted GuMiho, I think it's safe to say.
Look at that cheeky one infester again, parked behind this force. He could actually get a really nice fungal in a couple of places if GuMiho decides to move forward. Zerg's pushing the issue now, realizing, hang on a sec, you actually don't have anything here.
Yeah, that tank, by the way, like 15 kills before dying. Not too shabby for that positioning is what it gave it. But while this goes on, and maybe GuMiho's not striking into the heart of Elazer and allowing Elazer to get away with his 3-3 plus chitinous, he himself has been getting Liberator range, Liberator upgrades, and his own 3-3.
Yes, indeed. Double drop's finally going to come in, but Elazer's well prepared. The nice thing about how Elazer's dealt with this is because you're like the left and right side of the map are quite far away from each other, obviously. To avoid some of that hassle of having to run back and forth between those positions, he's got like spore crawlers there, he's got lings at the ready in case drops do actually come in. So I just really like how he set himself up that way so he can just sort of focus on the bigger push that's going to be coming down the right-hand side of the map.
I love Elazer's patience, by the way. He's been waiting so long to trigger some of these banelings, like the ones right there waiting. But yo, as GuMiho retreats back off of creep, Elazer, he's waiting for it. Oh! And the fungal combo to follow it up. This drop, this attack completely shut down. Left side of the map, those two medevacs are in full retreat too. GuMiho has lost any presence he had on the southern half of the map.
Oh my god. Man, that
People better be clipping this stuff. I'm just saying, like, these are great hits the Elazer's pulling off.
Those baneling hits, man. I need to like shed a layer of clothing now. That was beautiful.
It's a little bit warm in here.
And he's going to continue doing it too. He's just barring them here and there, trying to catch him off guard again. And that's a really nice way to go because it takes all the wind out of GuMiho's sails with these pushes every single time. So beautifully done. He's making 5 liberators at a time. And ultras are popping out as well, so he should be well prepared for the big ball of Zerg death. It's going to be out here, and well, kind of already is out.
Yo,
but I'm just kind of wondering how he pushes it.
I really like the double spire. Last time he did this, he went 1 spire, integrator spire, and eventually the 2nd spire for upgrades. I think with the passiveness that I'm gonna say this with air quotes, right? The passiveness that GuMiho has applied here. This gives the Elazer the freedom to make both spires, upgrade one while immediately starting armor upgrades on the other. And there's just no better way to deal with liberators than really well upgraded corruptors, honestly.
Yeah,
the clip scope, sorry, the clip name is 420 Baneling No Scope. That is about the most accurate description of what we saw.
Oh, he's trying to get another big hit over those units, but it doesn't work out.
He's got more of them.
Yeah, he does. He's just basically parking them everywhere, and that's going to force GuMiho to keep scanning every time he moves forward.
Ooh, this attack, though. He does take out the tank. He'll bust through the depot. Well, no problem. That's going to let that Ultra come in. This could be a supply block for GuMiho eventually. No, he's got so many depots, it won't matter. Liberators, what's his choice here? Parasitic bombs? Yeah, they're all stuck sitting together, so they can't split. They're going to take 60 damage from each of these parasitic bombs. All these liberators getting so close to dying.
I can't believe more of those didn't die there. He actually pushed forward with the bulk of his ground army as well. It looks like the Bio won out on that side, but in his natural, he's actually got so many.
Where are those corruptors? Where are those corruptors? Like, this is like one shot the Liberator territory here. These Vipers aren't going to cut it. In fact, loses one on the retreat. Elazer's losing a lot of ground, but GuMiho not only supply blocked, he's been completely shipped back to his own main base.
Yeah. GuMiho's continuing to push forward here. He's still got a nice Liberator set up here.
Oh, I love the abducts.
Trying to put an end to that. And he does sort of get cleaned up. There's still a chunk of Zerg over at GuMiho's house too. Trying to find some damage at these mineral lines. He lost a lot of workers, I feel like. Yeah, 31 went down.
Both players took a pretty big hit from that fight, but I think that GuMiho had more momentum to lose than Elazer did. Elazer, who, as we go to the income graph here briefly, has been winning the income war for the last 10 minutes of this game. He had money to throw away. Ultra's going to get this base too. Not that much up here he can really do. But these are GuMiho's lifeblood. These are his mining bases. Medevac tried to save some SCVs. A for effort, F for execution.
Yeah,
and 7 to pay respects.
Elazer somehow managed to deal with the Terran army, have a decent chunk of Zerg army left over, and he's sort of crippled GuMiho as well. He's got one functional base. He doesn't have a lot of minerals to play with, and he's going to struggle to replenish that supply. So, I don't know, maybe he multi-prongs to get back into it. He's going back into Liberators as well. I feel like it's going to be really tough to gain momentum again.
5 Liberator production is pretty legit. And this could be a big problem for Elazer, maybe, since granted he has Corruptors now, but not that many Vipers, so there's not gonna be many Abducts. The ground army's also gonna be an issue too. If those Ultras can't keep the Marines occupied, they'll tear through the sky. But in every way, like, I really do favor Elazer going forward. It's gonna take Elazer's mistakes, I think, for GuMiho to get back in this game. We'll see if mistakes are made. The Vipers came in a little bit early. They abduct that first Liberator, quickly removing that from play. And while GuMiho snipes a base here, it's going to cost him so much. Oh my god. Marines are just scattered on the ground. They can't fire through that blinding cloud. Now full retreat. The Zergling's picking units off 1 or 2 at a time. Adrenal Lens is amazing for moments like this.
Yeah, these units really don't have a lot of wiggle room here. They're kind of backed into a corner. The Liberators are out, and they can set up some nice liberation zones here, actually. And with the Sim City, it makes it so hard for these Ultralists to actually get in here and be optimal. But you know what? There's not a lot of Terran, and there's still a lot of Zerg left.
He's about to do it.
Rushing through.
He's about to murder GuMiho.
Oh my god.
I think this is like a class 1 StarCraft felony. GG, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 5, and Elazer takes the series 3-2. Replacement Man title now being stripped from Thermal and being given to Elazer. Like, oh my god. That's amazing.
That's so crazy.
All right, well, the thing is, as much as it is really exciting and awesome, and the fans seem to love what just happened there, I do got to remind you guys, that was only the preliminary match of the series. Elazer still has to beat somebody in the winner's match to get out of the group. That somebody is about to be determined, though, as we get into Classic versus Solar, who we have kept waiting for way too long. So I'm going to quickly go to our breaks. We have a TING commercial we have to show you guys, and then we'll get going for this next series ASAP. So here's TING to talk about their rates, and we'll see you guys in a few minutes.